Senator Joe Manchin, it would have to be a key Democrat vote to move forward with this $3.5 trillion reconciliation package, any kind of infrastructure bill. And he has now publicly said, he came out to the president directly and said, this IRS plan, I don't know who wrote this. This is wrong.
The president and I had this conversation. I said, Mr. President, I don't know who put this out and how it got screwed up. When they said basically we're going to start looking at $600 transactions, even if it's $10,000, right. Okay, that's only $800, $900 a year. And I said, do you understand how messed up that is? To think that Uncle Sam's going to be watching Trenton and what it does for bankers and this and that. I told him, I said, Mr. President, I don't know what happened. This cannot happen. It's screwed up. So he says, I think Joe's right on that. So I think that one's going to be gone.
This is the IRS snooping plan, the plan that, for initially they wanted it for every $600 transaction. Then it was an aggregate of $10,000 in transactions.
You cannot afford to lose a vote in the United States Senate if you're the Democrats. And he has now said he will not go along with this snooping provision. And Jordan, I think the thing that makes this even more significant is he said this directly to the President of the United States. And what did he say the President responded to him? He said he thinks that the President responded to him. I think Joe is correct on this.
The difference, I think, where we have Joe Manchin now is that he is not just like a single opposition to an idea that ultimately his vote can't stop anything. Now his vote is the vote that is most key. His support is most key. So I do think he wields more power than he may have in the past.
Here's the reality. To defeat this IRS snooping provision, you know who we need? We need Joe Manchin. So despite the fact that I don't trust him on a number of provisions, I still need him to do the right thing when he goes down to the White House and talks to the president. And the result of that conversation that we have today, yes, we're going to have to hold both their feet to the fire. But Jordan, we're in a better position today than we were yesterday because of that conversation.
Where he doesn't even go is that to do this, so they keep trying to say this is revenue neutral. They're going to get $7 trillion back over a decade, but they need $87 billion up front and 80,000 new bureaucrats who you'll never be able to fire. So basically you're creating, and it's like another IRS.
You're building another army of 80 to 87,000 employees in the United States to spy on you. And as you said, Jordan, you can't get rid of them. Once these IRS agents are in place and once they're out there doing the bidding of the Internal Revenue Service, you're stuck with them, and they're going to be looking at transactions in your bank account, which is going to aggregate $10,000 a year. As Harry Hutchison said, we spend about $1,400 a month on food. That's $10,000 a year the average family is going to spend on grocery bags. You're going to be subject to an audit just because you're living.
$10,000 or more transactions in a year. That's not about going after billionaires. That's not going after millionaires. That's not going after people who make $400,000 a year. That's going after 40 to 50% of the people they think this will impact make under $50,000 a year. That is going after people who don't have the resources to defend themselves against the IRS.
If you look at this particular IRS proposal, essentially the IRS will be monitoring your expenditures on heat, clothing, and food, the basics. So the only individuals who will escape scrutiny by the IRS are either homeless or they're dead.
There's a reason why the Internal Revenue Service is the most distrusted department in the nation. That's with good reason. They have targeted Christians and conservative groups and have been caught doing that, had to admit that. There's little oversight and control. The tax code is so large and complicated till actually it doesn't allow for any meaningful oversight, not meaningful oversight. And as I mentioned, to Andy, their administrative rules they put in place have the force of law without any input from our elected representatives virtually.
Everybody who uses a bank account is going to spend and flow through that bank account $27 a day, $800 a month, $10,000 a year, and you're going to have an army of IRS agents looking at every single transaction you make in a bank account. In other words, I'm predicting that the IRS is going to be moving its offices from where it is right now, downtown in Washington near the Capitol, to the Pentagon, because that's what basically you're creating, is another branch of the military.
This is a snooping provision. It's a way to get inside everyone's bank account in the United States of America without having to go to court. Because if they had to go to court, you have to actually make a case. Why do you actually need this? You have to show cause. Here they would not have to be showing cause.